In the gym and in the car, with our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes, and talk about our sexy dates. We host events and go to clubs, but most of all we're still in love. It's getting hard for this to rhyme, just as well 'cause it's bed hopping time. Hello and welcome to the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name's Mr. H.
I'm Mrs. H.
This is episode 189. That number may not mean anything to you, and it doesn't mean anything to us, but thanks for joining us nonetheless.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah, I know. We're not promoting anything, right? This is we don't have anything to promote episode.
Because the only thing we've got going on is sold out anyway.
Yeah, we can't even tell you about the amazing social that we're going to have in like 3 weeks because it's all sold out. Unless you're going to, in which case, thanks for buying tickets. You're awesome. Come along to it. It'll be great.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. We're going to be doing speed dating. Wah, wah, wah.
Is that Goldfinger? You're singing
No,
Goldfinger.
it's completely an original musical composition that I made up entirely on the spot because that's how talented I am.
All right, pussy galore.
I can't back that up in the slightest. So, yeah, we're going to be doing some speed dating. That's going to be fun. If utter chaos.
Like herding cats.
Like herding cats. But we did speed dating back in Desire. I remember doing that. We did naked one and then we did clothed one.
This is going to be a clothed
This will be
one.
clothing based. Yes, definitely clothing involved.
Yes.
I'm probably going to have, I don't know, a klaxon.
No,
Or,
we don't
I don't
need
know,
a
something that makes a
klaxon.
loud noise.
Well, you've got a loud voice, so it's fine.
No, I don't. My voice is very, very, very
Lies.
quiet. But it can get quite loud too.
Yes,
Yes.
we'll be fine. We'll get it all done.
Gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I am thinking about some other stuff that we're going to do when we're there, but I can't reveal that. It's
Not
going
even
to
to me.
No.
Doesn't seem fair.
I told you exactly what I was thinking about earlier on this evening. And this is just a random weird conversation between us now, much like the rest of the podcast, granted. But it's like, hey, gentle listener, this is something that we're not going to tell you about.
A thrilling insight into
Yeah.
our domesticity.
Well, as I try to remind you and reveal what it is
Yes.
that I was talking about, and then you can't remember it
No.
because I said
Some
the
hours
cost
have
of getting
Yes,
there
now
we
I
go.
remember.
Now you know where we are. Thanks for bearing with us, folks.
That's all right.
Yeah, this is it. I promise you, it will get
Maybe.
marginally better.
Strong 2% better.
Maybe 8.5% if you're
I'm a
really
year
lucky.
older now. My brain cells have declined a bit
Are
more.
you any wiser?
Always.
I mean, you've stuck with me, so clearly something is right in your head, right?
Yeah.
Well, as we record this, it's what, Bi Visibility Day?
Oh, yes, it is. Absolutely.
So happy Visibility Day, all you bi people.
That's right.
Yeah, and all you supporters of bi people. Well done. Fair play.
Excellent.
Good on you. Nice work. But that's not what we're talking about today.
No.
We are going back on a topic that we have covered a number of times, actually.
Yes.
But-
is it the solo dating?
It is Han Solo dating. So you went on a date.
I did.
You did go on a date.
Solo.
A solo
Just me.
lady date. Well, I stayed at home and went to work.
Yes.
Less exciting for me, if I'm honest, working.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. But it was the only way we could work it out logistically.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a bit about this, about your prep, the conversation that we had,
Yeah.
where it went well. You're going to tell a sexy story, apparently.
Of course. Always.
Yes, it may end up being a sexy story. It
Who knows? Maybe it won't be.
may end up being crushingly awkward, which is perfectly possible
I think
and
it's
plausible.
just only going to be awkward for me.
Yeah, no, I think
You're going to be expecting me to say
the
things.
cringe factor. I mean, obviously we've discussed this happened a week or so ago, right?
Yeah.
And we've obviously talked about it a bit.
I didn't use words then either.
You didn't use any words then. Well, and this will be part of the review. Let's see how it went for us. Let's see how it went for you. Let's see how it went for me.
I mean, the date was really lovely. Just as a let's just to frame that.
Well, it was really lovely for you.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sure the other person had a nice time.
It was mediocre then Is that make you feel better?
I mean, it went well.
No, it was great.
There was a moment for us that we'll talk about, and we'll get into that. I'm just trailing everything now. I'm not actually going to reveal anything. I'm just constantly
we'll just hint at how it might have gone or might not have gone.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to guess. If you think it went
Choose your
well,
ending.
push number 4, and if you think it went really badly, push number 8.
Like a Black Mirror episode.
I was thinking more choose your own adventure or whatever it is. They they really don't like you doing that stuff out in the wild.
No, it's not allowed.
They're quite litigious, I believe. Anyway, hopefully we can move swiftly past the
awkwardness.
The awkwardness. I doubt that's ever gonna happen. So anyway, so one of the things that you've been talking about for a while and that we've discussed before on the podcast is about you having a solo date with a lady.
Yes, this is true.
Someone that isn't Secret Vixen.
Yeah.
but is a different person, the likes of which we will not reveal their name.
Someone who is known to me, though.
Is known to you, that you have or that we have known and know well. And so you're in safe hands.
Yeah. But also we wanted it to be someone known to us because we felt delving into a solo date for either of us where we don't necessarily know the other person in a biblical sense maybe would be problematic, because then it's bordering onto more relationship-y things.
I think there's a bit of a greater risk in that respect.
I agree.
And I don't even think it necessarily has to be someone that we have played with before.
I think it helped.
But I think that helped. And I think having an established relationship in the back of our heads was actually a lot easier. Yeah. And I remember when we were talking about the sort of solo dating and it was like, well, is it, and you were kind of like, oh, well, I'll just go off and I'll have a date with someone. And I'm like, is it someone that I've met before? And you're like, maybe, may not be. And then I was like, well, how would you feel if I went on a date with a woman that you've not met before?
Yeah, it does present a level of risk that neither of us have really had an appetite for.
No, I don't think so. And I think it would be fine for the person going off on the date. Sounds great and exciting and like, ooh, it's an adventure. But for the person sat at home, I think it just opens your head up to, or certainly in our relationship, where we're barely held together by jealousy. Like, I think we would send the person sat at home mad.
Oh, I agree. Send you into orbit with levels of anxiety.
It's the unknown, I think, on it. And it's who is this person? How are they connected to us? What do they do? What they after?
A crazy spark that is just like takes off.
There we go.
Never know.
That's the thing.
We don't want to know. That's the thing.
Well, I think there is there could well be a crazy spark between people that we've already played with. But I think the thing is that we understand those relationships much better than the unknown or than something that we've not experienced. And therefore, it was with somebody that we did know.
Yes, correct.
And it's taken you a while to pull your finger out of your ass.
Well, yes.
You have been stood around literally finger popping your asshole trying to sort this.
Well, okay. Well, in part, logistically, yes. It's been hard to get all the moving parts and the moons to align and find time that we both could get together. But also, I was a little bit apprehensive because I'm still very much of the opinion that it's not something you're like really keen on, if I'm honest, but also I know you were keen for me to do it.
Well, I think you wanted that alone time with the lady, and I think that's been the big driver for you. I think the bit for me, as we've talked about before, I don't really get a lot out of it.
No.
And you don't give me a lot out of it. So there is I don't feel particularly excited about the idea of you going away, but also you don't make the idea of you going away exciting.
No, and the reason for that is twofold, really. And I'll tell you for why.
Tell me for why. One
of the reasons is I don't want to jump up and down about it and sound overly keen, because I don't want you to feel threatened in any way. But the flip side of that is obviously I need to be keen enough so that you're happy for me to go and do it. So it's like a whole fly casual, Chewy. How casual do you fly with it?
Well, I think, I don't think this quite relates to that. I think it's more you're going away and doing a sexy thing and presenting it in a way that's exciting. I think what you're talking about is trying to walk the fine line, the balance between
is a fine balance
between being, oh, I'm going to go out on a date, isn't that exciting, like in your head? But if you lay on too thick with that, then you because you can't win. If you're not very, it might be hurtful, and you might go, oh wow, they're more excited about seeing someone else. Or if you're not that excited, and you're like, well, why are you bothering to do it?
Okay.
And there is a little bit of that, and I understand it. But I think the bit that I'm getting at is that actually you don't make it into a sexy thing for me anyway.
No.
So I don't get a lot out of it, right? Okay. We know that. We know that I don't, I like to be involved with the toy and play the video game rather than look at the toy, right?
Yes.
I'm sweeping toy for, anything. But what's not happening is that I'm not getting any of the marketing for the toy either. Right? So if it's not a toy I particularly want to play with, there's no excitement. Do you see what I mean? So if you're going away and you're having what could be the world's sexiest time, right? When you come back, your description and your passing back of that, did you have a good time, is not particularly exciting.
Okay. I have another question for you though.
Yes.
So in the past, you have alluded to the fact that you don't find the idea of me with another woman particularly exciting, yes?
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Correct.
So in my head, I'm thinking, well, he's not ever really been really sexually excited by me having these kind of experiences with women. And I don't particularly want you to sit and watch either, because I don't do it so you can watch. But equally, I know you're not particularly turned on by the idea. So in my head, I'm like, well, how can I ever make this sexy for you if you don't like the idea in the first place?
Well, this is indeed the chicken
and that's my conundrum.
Well, I don't think it's your conundrum.
It isn't.
No,
because a conundrum. Then.
I don't think you can sex up a story. I think that's the difference.
Well, there is that, but that's just.
But that's that. And,
well, yes, we'll come on to that.
And we will indeed.
However,
but
in the event I could sex it up, in the event that I managed to get to a point where I could retell a sexy narrative, which I know I struggle with.
Let me ask you a question, right?
Okay, go on then.
What do you always, in fact, literally on Saturday, you were telling me that I should try one thing. Oh. Right?
Well,
you were suggesting to me. You were like,
I got carried away with.
You were like, hey, you just put
banter.
You were telling me in terms of a conversation that I should try putting a cock in my mouth, right? We weren't doing it. This was just at a social event, and we're just chatting. There was no chance of it actually happening. But you were like, just try it, because you don't know if you might like it.
Yeah,
now,
I know.
It seems to me that you telling me a story is probably a lot safer to my head than me putting a cock in my mouth. So it's that. Well, if you don't do it, how am I to know?
Okay.
So there is that.
All right, I accept that.
That angle. But I also know that you are pretty quiet when it comes to talking in a sexy way anyway.
Oh, yeah, I agree. The sexy narrative evades me completely.
Yes.
Yes, I've always struggled with that.
Yeah, I know that. And that's why I'm saying the reason that you don't give me that, I think, is none of this nonsense about I might not like it. It's the fact that you can't really do it.
Should we say both? Because it is both.
I'm calling it a 90.
No, that's not
10.
fair.
But it might not be fair. But it might be true.
There is an element of that to me.
Yes.
I just know that it's not your bag anyway. So I find it even harder to make it sexually explicit when I'm retelling the story.
I don't think.
Because I'm also like, oh, you don't want to hear this. You don't even like it.
But I don't think you've ever actually dirty talked to me. Like ever in the 20 years or whatever that we've been together.
God.
So
there was that one time when we went to Le Boudoir.
Okay.
And I got a bit pissed and then we had anal. Do you remember? You do remember that. It's probably the only time that I actually said stuff.
And that's the thing, is that it's such if you're taking over the total amount of times that we have had sex. So if you say an average of, let's do some math, let's get the calculator out. This will be right. So I have known you for 25 years. That's 320. Say what? 22 years? 20 years?
24.
24. Right. 24 times 365.
Why are you like this?
And then let's. All
right, Rain Man. Why?
Hang on, I should have worked out how many times a week we're. So say we have an average sex 3 times a week.
All right.
So how many of that was that? How many months in a year or whatever? Million? Okay, 40 or something. So I mean, it's a lot. The amount of times that we've had sex and the amount of times that you've dirty talked is
one. So it's like thousands
All
to the
right,
power
what's your point, Mr. Hopper?
My point is that when I'm talking about why you don't dirty talk,
Yeah.
and you're going, it's because you won't like it, I kind of think that's a bit bullshit.
But there is an element of that, though.
Yes, but that element is so minuscule that they could split it and it would cause a nuclear explosion because it is the size of a fucking atom. However, let's not get hung up on this because I'm clearly right. Now,
again, why are you like this? All right, look, I accept that I find it really, really difficult to be sexually explicit in any kind of verbal communication.
yeah.
I accept that.
Yep.
And it's not because I'm a prude and it's not because I'm offended by the words that I'm hearing or saying. I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the sound of them coming out of my mouth. I don't enjoy the way it makes me feel when I'm saying the words. I can read you a story with difficulty, and even that makes me cringe. But it's just not me. You get that, right?
I know. I understand.
It's deeply uncomfortable for me.
I know.
On many levels.
I know how uncomfortable it is for you. It's
so it's not because I'm trying to be deceitful or try and hide things from you. It's because I just don't have it in me to make it a sexy experience for you.
And that's why when you say that you don't do it because it's going to upset me, why I'm calling it bullshit, because I know that
there is part of it. But all right, fine, let's move on.
So you arranged a date for the daytime. What was that about? What was going on? So there was that a convenient time?
Yeah, so I had a day off because that made sense logistically with all of the plans.
Okay.
And also, I think it was more palatable that I didn't spend a night away from, not overnight, but a night away from you, because I know in the evenings we like to try and hang out a bit and do some nice stuff. And it felt weird for me to then leave you for an evening. And I think you might have actually found that more difficult anyway. Maybe, or at least in my head, I was thinking, if you're working, you've got distraction and you maybe not quite so thinking what do I do now?
It could have gone either way, really, because had it been at work and I've got no means of taking myself away to think about what's going on, then that could have been quite distressing. As it happens, I was fine because I know the person and I didn't have there's no stake in it for me because I'm comfortable and there's no
skin in the game.
No skin in the game on this. And so you arranged for this date and tell us about your date. What was your plan? What was going through your head the night before?
The night before?
The night before. Talk us through the lead up to it and the getting ready and all this good stuff.
Is this the part where I have to start thinking about how to retell this in a sexy way?
No, not yet. We're not got to that.
Can we just talking about
prep for the date? What was going through your head and lead up to it?
I've had one other date with a woman, and I genuinely felt more nervous for that the first time.
Okay.
I didn't feel the same level of nerves this time.
Was that practice? Different person?
Partly different person, and partly because I had done this already, and this was now a second date.
Okay.
Albeit with someone different.
Yeah.
But I wasn't anywhere near as nervous. And because maybe it was in the daytime as well, it almost felt a little normalised because I wasn't getting really dressed up and going out in an evening and doing a datey thing. And that if that makes sense.
All right.
It felt different, I think, because of the organisation around it.
All right.
So I didn't feel that nervous. I was tired. I do remember I was really tired. It just already had been a longish sort of week leading up to it.
That could be any night of the week, though.
Exactly. No, I agree with you.
Fair.
I'm often very tired now. This is my life now. So didn't feel particularly nervous. Was looking forward to it, but beyond that, I wasn't really kind of anything other than, this will be nice. I'm really looking forward to some time with this person. Yeah.
Well, on the day, tell us about it. What happened during your day? What was the plan?
The plan was I was going to get up, have a little lie in, have some breakfast, chill out with you I know you were working, but chill out with you a little bit, and then head off to my date sort of mid-morning.
Okay.
And then the plan was to be back with you probably mid-afternoon.
All right.
So it was probably, I don't know, 3 hours-ish tops in terms of
3-4 hours, something like that.
No more than that. It wasn't ever going to be more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us about it. What happened?
what actually happened.
Well, what you don't have to go into like jump straight into sexy times,
No.
but how did it flow? What was because for some people, they won't obviously have gone on a solo date before.
That's very true.
And for many people, they won't have ever seen daylight before doing any level of swinging because that's just not the way that the lifestyle runs. I mean, if it doesn't happen at 3:00 in the morning, does it even happen at all?
Okay. So I'll tell you what happened for me.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily going into the actual semantics of the play date just yet.
Just yet. Okay.
Just yet. I'm talking about what happened. Yeah, we'll come back to that. And so in the morning, I woke up feeling a little uneasy. And the reason I felt uneasy was because I felt you weren't okay.
Okay.
And I also think I knew instantly why you weren't okay when I woke up. And even though you were saying you were okay and you were acting your normal self, you weren't that okay because we had not had sex the night before.
Okay.
And I knew that when I woke up. And
You knew that we hadn't had sex when you woke
no,
up?
I knew that was something that wasn't right.
Okay.
And the previous night, I do recall also feeling overwhelmingly tired, but also thinking, I'll just doze for a minute and then I'll wake him up and then we'll do some stuff. But I didn't.
No, you just literally lay in bed.
I lay in bed.
Put your arm around me.
I cuddled you. We cuddled and all the other lovely stuff that we always do. But
you were like snoring
and then I
like
fell asleep
2 minutes.
instantly, correct. Yeah. And then I had some fitful dreams. I'm saying fitful dreams because I didn't rest easily because I think subconsciously it was in my head that this should have happened and it didn't and it was my fault. But at the same time, I was so ridiculously tired, I couldn't do anything about it. And then I just slept really awkwardly and kept half waking up. And in my dream self, I was like, I need to lean over and I reach over and have sex with him. But then I couldn't because I was actually asleep. And then it was just a hot mess.
It sounds like space madness, frankly.
It was some awful like sex delirium. But I had half dreams of, am I waking up to do this? No. And then I was asleep again. But I knew when I woke up instantly, it's like, it wasn't right. And I knew that. And I knew that you weren't saying anything to me about it. But I also knew you weren't okay.
Well, it wasn't that I wasn't okay. I was actually okay. I was all right.
But you were unhappy.
I think I was a little bit frustrated and it's hard. I found it hard not to jump to this sort of perhaps rather selfish view that, oh, you're off having an adventure tomorrow to fuck somebody else. You're not going to have the sexy times with me. And I think because we'd already spoken about having sex that night as well.
I don't recall us having
it was only a very small conversation.
Okay.
But I kind of was like, oh, cool, right. That's when we go to bed, it'll be nice and sexy. And then off you toot in the morning or whatever. And it'll, be fine. And then we got into bed and you were asleep within moments, within like a minute or two. And then I was like, well, I don't want to wake you up because I know you're tired. I can see you're tired. And the next morning, I didn't want to say anything because because I knew you would over panic and over worry as you do. Like, I swear you were going to get fucking bandages out and wrap me up and cut them all and whatever, as you do when you think that there's something wrong with me, even though there wasn't anything particularly wrong. And then you just kept badgering and badgering and badgering because you felt, I think.
Well, I knew it wasn't right.
Yeah, you knew, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to ruin your adventure and your day. And I was like, in my head, I was like, well, we can talk about this later. Actually, this is because I can't change the fact that you'd gone to sleep and we hadn't had sex the night before. That's just, whatever.
Yeah.
But you were very, very hounding as you are when you think something is wrong. And then we had the conversation, then you got really upset.
I did.
And I'm like, well, that's the last thing that I fucking wanted to do.
Well, I know, but it was inevitable at that point.
No, it wasn't inevitable because...
You met me right.
Yeah, but you didn't... Like, one, you could have had the sex before,
yes,
the night before.
But as you say,
and two,
I hadn't, so...
Two, you didn't have to pester and badger because you knew that it was going to make you upset because you knew what the problem was, realistically, as you said, or as you claim. And so I was like, well, but in the end, we had to have that conversation because you were so pokey about it. And then you got upset. And I'm like, well, you can't change what's happened. And now you're just upset because you're going off to your date and you feel like you've let me down somehow.
Yeah, it felt wrong.
Yeah,
and I was all set to say, no, I shouldn't do this.
That's fucking stupid.
I didn't say it was illogical.
No, I know.
reason.
I know. And
I was thinking with my emotion.
well, I know you were.
I understand that. But it's hard to separate that emotion from common sense when you've already gone into that space.
No, I totally get that. And that's why I spent a long time in the morning in between fucking work calls and stuff. Like trying to get my head around the fact that, oh, you're going off to do something like fun, exciting, and you're bawling your fucking eyes out. And I'm like, well, what? Like, and I say this perhaps flippantly, gentle listener, trust me, I was very much supportive and talking to Mrs. H and helping her through this conversation. At the same time, I was thinking, well, you're the one that's pressed that conversation and that angle. Like you've done this to yourself twice. So I was trying to help you to ensure that you went off and had a nice time, which is why it really frustrates me when you're like, oh, I thought if I told you I had a really nice time, you'd get really like upset and you wouldn't like to hear about the sexy things. Well, I've spent half my fucking day trying to get you out the door in a good space so you can go and have a nice time. You might as well tell me that you've had a good one, right?
Yeah, I understand that.
So it was a difficult morning.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a relatively short morning, to be fair. This was all condensed into like a couple of hours and included a plethora of conference calls because I work from home as well. So you're sort of sat there snotty nose blowing, whatever. And I'm like trying to tell them what the latest plan is for work today. And so that made it more difficult. Eventually you did calm down and you sort of went off.
Yes.
On your way. And
yes, I did.
When you came back, you seemed to think that you'd had a good time, I guess.
I had a good time.
There we go.
You were very much on my mind.
I'd hope so.
Well, you know what I mean? But really on my mind. And I was really excited to come home to you because not only had I missed you and I was excited that you were letting me have the opportunity to do this, but I felt really, really close to you because we'd had this conversation literally 2 hours previously and you'd reassured me to a point where I felt it was okay to go ahead. And at that point I realised, well, this is okay. We're okay.
But if it takes that level of investment to get to that point every time.
I looked forward to coming home to you then so we could reconnect properly.
You just wanted to come back and have the cock, I know. I know.
Well, I said it in a more loving way. I wanted to come home and reconnect with you. But I wanted to come home and sit in your cock.
There we go.
Better?
Yeah.
In a loving way.
In a loving way. Such loving bouncing up and down on my penis, dear. Okay.
And so, just to cut to that part of, I'm going to cover the date, but when I came home, that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
And it was really important that we did that.
I think, so my take out of it, because when I had gone on my solo dates, I think I'd been extra cautious to reassure you and connect with you before I did that. It was really in the forefront of my mind that I didn't want to leave you feeling like I was just ditching you and wandering off with some trollop. I know that Secret Vixen will probably kill me for that phrase, but...
Dear God, man. Edit that out for the love of God.
She'll hunt me down and kill me for many things.
Rightly so.
Yes. But the point being that it was really in the forefront of my head and that I wanted to make sure that I didn't leave you without giving you a kiss goodbye, without having had some intimate moments with you, because I didn't want it to ruin it for later on. And I didn't want you to have any doubt in your mind that I wasn't coming back.
Right. I get that.
So, and that's where, and I think it wasn't even that I was that upset that we hadn't had the sex before. It was just the fact that you hadn't thought of that more than anything else.
Or at least it hadn't become apparent to you that I'd thought about it.
Well, or that you hadn't stayed awake long enough to think about it. So
that.
But that's on you. But
I know.
As we've sort of talked about, but my take would be if you're planning solo dates and it's going to be one of your first ones or whatever, and you're not that sure about how you feel, is to do pay your other half the attention and do make sure that they understand that they are important to you. Of course, it's going to be incredibly difficult or I find it incredibly difficult to walk the line because I remember going on mine and you're like, oh, you're looking forward to your date? And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And you're like, are you sure? And I'm like, well, yeah. And but what I don't want to be doing is going, oh, I can't wait to go on the date and like really fuck the shit out of that person and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Because and I know for example, that there's no point in me retelling the sexy piece to you because you don't like it. You want to know what happened, but you want the bullet point summary version.
I want to know what happened, but I don't need it to be.
You don't want the
porny.
story and porny. I know you don't like that. Even pictures. No, you like the pictures that go, hey, this is us together doing a thing. We're happy, everyone's safe, and we're going to be back in an hour or whatever it might be.
I think, yes, on reflection, now we've done this a couple of times.
Yeah.
And each time, obviously, we've debriefed and we've talked about everything. And I think what I'm coming back to every time is, you're right, I don't really think I need that narrative presenting to me. I just need to know you're safe and you're okay and you're happy.
Yeah.
But I actually don't think I want it or need it.
The interesting thing with that, though, I suppose...
I want to reconnect with you afterwards. That's absolutely...
No, I didn't say that you didn't.
100%.
But I think the interesting thing is that, so from my perspective, if I'm going out on a date, I need to not only sort of interact with you, but lightly. Be like, so you kind of almost want to know, it's like, oh, we're going back to this is us having a meal. We're going back to a hotel, going to do some sex now. And then you want like a message afterwards going, sex done, be home in like an hour. That's kind of your level of...
I mean, all right, probably not quite so
perfunctory, but as
along
a
those
broad
lines.
Summary, that's what you want. And when I see you again, you probably want she was on top of me, and then we did some doggy style.
To know
and
what
then,
you did.
You want the bullet point piece, not the story.
Yeah,
the cliff notes or whatever they are. But also in the back of my head, if the person that I'm going on a date with has a partner that is very interested in the situation and the story, then I'm working two different angles. One is the bullet point children's version for you, and the other point is the filthy, disgusting porno version for him.
It'd be easier if we both just wanted the very simple bullet points.
Yes, it would. That would be helpful. Or pick one between you. Agree. I don't care which one it is. Just
My way is easier because actually, again, being on the other end of this, we know how difficult it can be to interrupt the flow of events to take a picture. And that's not always something that you want to do. I'm not saying you specifically, but I've spoken to many people who have said, this is actually really difficult sometimes if you're trying to let go and enjoy yourself because that's what your partner's asked you to do. And then at the same point, they're like, but also stop at this inopportune moment and please take me a picture. It's like, fuck, this is actually really hard.
I'm not,
I know you're fine with it because you're good at it. Great. Other people aren't.
But I'm good at taking pictures as well.
Yeah, well, you're right, Jack. Whereas A, I'm shit at telling stories. B, I'm awful at taking pictures.
Oh, I was suggesting that I was good at sex. That was the implication.
Well, we already know this.
Do we?
You probably have a T-shirt somewhere with it on.
Yes, nice. But I think for me that the story, the pictures or whatever is part of the fun, but you have to make it that part of your fun, particularly if that's the other partner's demands.
Well, I do know that I probably have a more cerebral need than looking at things and hearing about things. I think I prefer the imagination. I know what you're doing. You've told me that.
Yeah.
I also know when you're going to be done and when you're going to be back. I also know that. And in the middle, I can fill in what I want. I can fill in my blanks.
Me too.
Don't be so crass. It serves you right if she hunts you down and literally rips you a new one for this, right? It'll serve you right.
And then I have a brand new one. Nice.
But I think I prefer my imagination to fill in the blanks there because it's always going to be the way I imagine or want it to be in my head without having to verbalise that or see a picture of it. And I think that's been the same for me all the way through my own sexuality. When I've had any kind of stimulus, it's always been my own
It's been
thoughts.
A bunch of bullet points.
No, it's been my own thought process and I've not really needed to have someone tell me what's going on or watch a film. I can just have my own way. But that's why a fantasy is always better for me as a fantasy, and sometimes it's better than the reality.
But interestingly, you do like a sexy film.
I do.
And you do like a sexy book.
I don't want to watch porn necessarily.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So
I don't want fake sex stuff.
You don't want fake sex stuff.
Which is why I like the world cinema things, because it is more of a sexy narrative that's artfully presented without it being overt.
Yeah.
Although there's some pretty fucking overt things in these films which are great. But it's presented in a different way.
Well, talking about overt and presenting sexy stories. So what did you get up to in your sexy times?
Well,
and
it
I
was
appreciate
a
this
seamless segue, wasn't it?
It was seamless. I appreciate this may be awkward and difficult and
Well, I've
hard
just explained how hard I find it to.
I know, and that's why I
verbalise
think it
these
would be a
things.
good exercise in you trying to tell us what happened.
All right, so I'm going to imagine we're in a French film then.
Okay.
Something, I don't know. Oh, okay.
Sur la table or dans la table?
Sur la table.
Où est
Camembert.
le piscine? Splish splash.
There was no pissing.
Oh, good.
Piscines. Oh, all right, okay.
Listeners should note that at this point, Mrs. H has taken off her glasses.
So I can't see you.
She is now rubbing her eyes.
So I can't see you.
Her eyes are
I don't want to
closed
see your face.
and her fingers are shoved in them.
I don't want to see your face, and I don't want to see the expression on your face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to hide underneath the table?
In fact, if you just get out of the room, it'd be great.
Okay.
Look, okay, there's a little bit of jest in here, granted, but I do find this really difficult.
I know you do. That's why I'm making you do it, because it's amusing.
I don't even know where to start.
Okay.
Can you
So
lead me through this somehow?
How did you get to did you go to the bedroom? Did you just start playing? Did you have a drink? How did it start?
I arrived at the house.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a few minutes just kind of saying hi, and we immediately went up to the bedroom.
Naughty. I feel like there should be a blues riff in this. Yeah. I went up to the bedroom.
We went immediately to the bedroom to continue a conversation and be comfortable.
Yeah.
We didn't immediately go up to the bedroom and tear each other's clothes off.
Okay.
We did it because we wanted to relax, and we wanted to be relaxed in the environment where we would ultimately be ending up at some point.
Okay.
So we just thought it was easier
Yep.
to take a couple of glasses of Prosecco upstairs.
Yeah.
And we just chilled out in the bed and chatted for, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour probably, it was nice. It was relaxed chat. It was easy. We didn't have to worry about going from like A to B and going, should we take this party upstairs? It was already upstairs and it was just nice. And we were both dressed. It was all good. And then after about half an hour, I think the conversation got a little more in depth around why we were both there. And at that point, we decided that we should get undressed because I was actually really fucking hot as well. I should point out.
That's standard.
It was really sunny and the sun was coming through the windows. And from a practical point of view, it was really hot. So we decided to get undressed and then we could continue just lying there and just having a conversation. I kind of opened the conversation a bit more and we started talking about what we think about when we like play with ourselves, maybe, because it kind of made the conversation a bit more sexy.
So you were talking about bullet points. Nice.
No. Oh wait, do you mean bullet vibrators?
Bullet points.
Oh, okay.
Like you just want the bullet points or whatever it is.
So we started that, and then we laughed a little bit about, well, maybe we should, the porn always kind of gives you this imagery that, all women are just scissoring and, doing the very obvious porn-hubby moves that you see.
All right.
So we jokingly then decided to Google scissoring. And then we quickly decided that actually I wasn't needed and we didn't really want to bother with that. And we should just do what felt right.
Okay.
So we both lay down, but like a 69, but we weren't on top of each other. We lay next to each other, but top and tail.
Okay.
And then she had got out like 5 or maybe more, 6, 7 different toys and laid them all on the bed. Because I asked her to show me what her favourite ones were. And so she got about 5 or 6 out and she asked me to pick which one I wanted to use on her. So I picked one which I like the look of. And then I started playing with her with this particular dildo.
Dildo, huh?
Dildo.
All right.
I also used my fingers as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she started doing the same with me, but didn't use like a dildo or anything, just fingers.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of really close to like orgasming at this point. And And I was like, whoa, just like stop a minute, because I didn't want to straight away. And then she asked if she could use the wand on me. And that was even more.
I was going to say, that's like an escalation.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to stop that for now and concentrate on you. So we carried on playing just kind of in that really slow way, just lying down next to each other, but just using our fingers and toys. And then she made me come. And then I carried on doing the same with her with a toy, and fucking her with a toy and using my fingers at the same time. And then she came. I thought I did all right with that.
Oh, was that the end?
Well, yeah, pretty much. But obviously it took place over a bit longer than I've just described.
Okay, well, that was a fair retelling.
Yeah.
That's probably more information than you've given me so far.
Well, I'm giving it to you now.
Oh, thank you. I only had to wait a week and a half.
Because I find it really difficult.
I could tell.
Yeah.
It's the way you couldn't
Really
look me in the
now.
eye when you were telling any of that story, which was quite amusing.
It's not because I don't want you to hear it. It's not because I want to keep it to myself. I just find it difficult
Yeah.
to talk about.
I'm sure people enjoyed hearing that.
Really?
I'm quite sure people.
Do you think so?
I'm sure people enjoyed it.
I'm really warm.
You're hot and bothered now. Look, your chest is so
Boiling.
red.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you went for a bite to eat, from what I gather, and then
Well, we lay there for a little bit and kind of, lay next to each other and stayed naked for like 15 minutes and chatted and finished drinks, and then we were both starving. Yeah. We went and had some lunch together.
cool. And then you came home.
I pretty much came home to you.
Later on.
Yeah.
Nice. So how was it going on a solo date?
I really, really enjoyed it. It's very different to, I hate to say this phrase, but I'm going to say it, big dick energy. Dick energy.
Dick energy.
It is. It's entirely different because women they feel different. They're, it's not, when I'm with a man, obviously yourself, you're obviously the my man in my life, but when I'm with men generally, I have a sense of, power and masculinity, and I like the feel of how much bigger men are than me. I like that feeling. I like, a man to have body hair, and I like the smell of men mixed with like a masculine kind of scent. And women's entirely different and completely different. Obviously, for me, it's, I really desire it. And will often think about, having sex with women anyway. But again, that's not to diminish that my time spent with males is sexy. It's just sexy in a different way. And I think I still want both. I'm truly honest. Because, I missed having sex with you. I missed being with you, and kissing you and being intimate with you is completely different.
Yeah.
But I like them both.
Only there was a way for you to have both things at the same time.
And I really, really do love both. And it's just really soft, I think, with women. They're like, their hands are small and their faces aren't, stubbly from beards. It's just an entirely different feeling.
I mean, I can provide small hands. My hands aren't particularly large.
But you know this because you've kissed women and been into
yes, I
they feel
enjoy
very
it.
different.
That's why I'm
Me
straight,
too,
because I
babe,
really
me
like
too.
having sex and kissing women. It's wonderful.
And so I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
And not having a kind of dick energy going on.
Dick energy.
But I also looked forward to getting home and getting dick energy.
So what we've established is that you're greedy.
Well, if you want to put it like that, I guess it's true.
I mean, not without wanting to lean too heavily into
not
the
just say
bi stereotype.
hungry?
Well, I didn't want to say that.
Insatiable appetite.
That
for
is also
different parts of the buffet.
So I knew you liked the world buffet. I knew it was fucking true. You've banned me from going there because it's shit. But no, you get to eat the world buffet all the time. This is what I'm missing. Arancini and a chow mein on the same fucking plate.
Fucking hell, babe. That's a metaphor.
On this, the day of bi visibility. So you
how poignant.
I know, that's just at the beginning. Anyway, so you enjoyed your date.
I did.
You would like to do it again?
Oh, I would love to spend time again with a woman alone, yeah.
With a woman alone? What's the difference between you being with a woman alone and us being with a woman together for you? Apart from the fact that I'm there. making everything better as I do.
It's completely different vibe. Because when I'm sharing someone with you, that's really hot. Like, I love that. You know I do. I love a threesome.
I know.
I like a threesome probably more than a foursome because I get to share a woman with you, and that's really hot.
Yeah.
But I think the reason it's different is because there's not a point at which I have to sit back and let you have your turn. Which can sometimes feel, there's always going to be someone potentially just for a very small part of things feel a little bit like a third wheel.
Yeah, and I think
you do involve each other, of course you do, but it's inevitable that at some point someone's going to be taking a lead in a certain part, and then the other one has no choice but to sit back just for a minute, even if you then manage to reintegrate yourself somehow, by moving up to top end. But it's easier with just
top end.
Business end. But you know what I mean? When there's just two of you, it's less complicated. And it's nice to just not have to worry about the third party and think, are they okay? Am I involving them enough? Because you end up not thinking about your own pleasure or the other person's pleasure, you're thinking about another person's pleasure as well.
Yeah.
And that can just be a lot. And it can change the way it feels.
So with all that in mind then, is there anything you'd change about a solo date?
So this was very much hanging out, chilling out at a house together, which was really nice. It was really unfussy. It was really easy, and it was nice. It was really, really lovely, actually. It was really relaxed. It might be fun to go out, have a few drinks or something, and then come back. That's always a slightly different vibe. But also I think I might just be a bit more adventurous next time and progress to like more kind of body contact stuff.
Or body contact stuff?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Like what?
Well, like this was very much, fingers and toys.
Yeah.
Which is really sexy and it's really, really hot. But maybe more body contact, like, being together intimately.
Okay.
Because I just don't think, I have done that with women, but it's not much. So I think I'd probably like to do a bit more of that. There was no oral this time.
Which surprised me, actually.
Well, yeah, I know.
Because once you're down there, it's really hard to get you out.
Well, again, it is catering to what people like, isn't it? And I know in this particular instance, I knew she'd really like a toy and other kinds of play.
Okay.
But again, everyone's different, and I've my first solo date. Obviously, I did very much enjoy oral, so yeah, it can work out.
Roll the dice and see what happens. Huh? Cool. And would you do anything differently at all, or beyond that?
Obviously, the pre-run up with you would be handled differently this time.
That's what I was waiting for.
It's a given, right?
No, it's not. It wasn't a given on the night, was it?
Well, ooh, shots fired. You're going to dine out on this for the next 10 years, are you?
No, no, it's okay. You're not going on any more solo dates anyway.
Oh.
Makes it so much easier that way.
Wow,
I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. And I don't have to go on any, so I don't have to worry about sending you any bullet points.
You don't have to go on any?
No, I don't.
So would you like to have another solo date?
I don't feel it like it's really fun. I don't think it's something that I would do all the time.
No, I agree.
I think I'd look forward to having another one, but I don't think it's necessarily it's something that I want soon.
Oh.
If that makes sense. I'm not in an immediate rush to do it. But
last time you approached me and asked me if you could have one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So I think I would like to do it, but I'm conscious that we've got a lot of stuff going on at the moment. Mm-hmm. We've got a whole load of stuff coming up next year. The dance card is looking relatively full for the intermediate. So I think getting my head into the space where I'm like, okay, let's try some more of this. Probably I need a little bit more time to get into that space again. Okay. Because I'm thinking like we've got socials with all sorts of things going on that. We've got New Year's Eve to figure out.
Yeah.
And all that kind of thing.
So you don't want this kind of solo date thing to be a kind of underlying vibe, but we want to continue more regularly.
No, I don't think it needs to be a regular
I don't think it needs to be a regular thing.
But also I'm very conscious that neither one of us would say that because neither one of us wants to upset the other either. So we're both probably internally going, fucking hell, I wish I had
I want one every week.
Yeah, every week. Every Thursday is solo date night. But no, I recognise that it's very difficult to kind of get that balance right of like, oh, it's exciting, but also what I don't want to do is kind of rush all the way into things and get it wrong. And I think we did a lot of the getting it wrong, particularly in our early days. You know, it's in the fucking theme song, for fuck's sake. So I kind of want to take our time and think about it and try and get it right. Appreciating, of course, someone will be there going, well, practice makes perfect. So if you're doing that then you can do that. So I'm conscious that we've had in fact, you've had dates with different people, whereas I haven't.
Oh.
And that's an interesting thing as well, like how we work through that. But I think I don't want to rush, and I want to take our time and just sort of have some different experiences along the way. But, you know, I'd quite like to just get out there and meet people socially like a few times, because it feels like we haven't done a massive amount of that lately.
Yeah, we've been very focused on other stuff.
Like,
maybe.
well, either going to social events or running our events or going to clubs or having solo dates, but we haven't done so much of the us two meeting people and getting to know them better kind of thing. And I think that would be really cool to be able to do that, I think. But yeah, okay. So yeah, it's not a no, it's not a shelve it forever. It's, I think, just bide our time. But though, you know, if I look at how long it's taken to organise this one, exactly. which was months ago. I should start organising the next one tomorrow. Yeah, because it will be £6. Yeah, but you'll say that and you'll be like, oh, they're free on Tuesday. Bye. Don't worry about having sex. Bye. Dining out in it forever. That's good. So,
oh man, okay.
I'm glad that you had a lovely time. I'm glad that you're able to retell the story in some semblance eventually. After some metaphor, I should have just got you drunk and got you to tell me. That would have been.
Then I'd have to drink on a weeknight, and I'm trying to be good.
Well, you know, we'll do that. Don't forget to follow our TikTok, by the way, folks. If you're looking out for Mrs. H's running chronicles,
amazing.
It's I mean, you need to talk about something different other than running, and
no.
But you know,
running's consuming me at the moment. What should I talk about then? Come on, I don't do TikTok.
You do Pokemon. You could talk about that for every now and then.
Yeah, I could.
You could have talked about your solo date. You could have done that.
I didn't want to do that because then you might be like, why are you doing it on TikTok instead of talking to me about it? So I actually did think about that. But I thought, I don't want to.
But you could have gone, Mr. H, I'm going on a solo date. What's the one thing I should do before I go? And that would have solved all of our problems.
God, if only I'd done that. If only I'd reached out to my 12 TikTok followers and asked for their advice.
There we go. So there's that. I think you can talk about stuff that's coming up, what you're up to, what you're going to wear, what you've done, all that kind of cool stuff.
Okay, I'll work on it. Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, it's taken this long to get it up and running again. So
it really has.
The fact that you're doing it when you're running is good. You're doing a good job. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the nicest thing you said to me all day.
Is it?
Probably.
I've told you I love you.
Well, that's also lovely, but it's not like a.
And my biggest complaint about your solo date is that I wanted to have sex with you as well. I mean, that's not I might berate you for it, but it's not an awful thing. It's a, first world problem, surely.
Fine, it's true.
There we go. Right. So we're going to wrap this thing up now. But if you stay around until after the music, we have got some special guests.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you've just remembered.
I just remembered that.
All right, there's C3PO. Oh, my. So we have got, we collared some special friends to do a little thing about solo dating, because this was all about solo dating, I suppose, or just me having a go at Mrs. H. I'm sure that's true as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, and then having a go on Mrs. H, that was also true. But yeah, so we've collared some special friends to talk about their solo dating experiences. So you get like a whole bonus.
How to get it right.
How to do it right. Almost a podcast worth of material.
Some experts in the field.
Well, yeah, let's get some people that know what they're actually doing in to talk about it and go from there.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add, Mrs. H?
Do you know what? No, I don't think there is.
Okay.
I think all good.
All right. Do you want to do your thing?
Yeah. Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.
Hi there, it's Secret Stag.
And I'm Secret Vixen.
And yeah, we've been asked to record something for the Bed Hoppers.
I know, again. This is couple of shows in a row.
I know. I feel like we're touching the very edge of fame.
Wow. Wow.
We're honoured as always to be on the podcast.
Absolutely.
And particularly about this because obviously single dates is kind of our thing, I guess.
You could say that.
You could say that. For me, I go on many single dates.
Lies.
I could go on single dates.
Right, we digress.
I think single dates, if you're not really in that mindset, it really isn't a thing you can just jump into. Would you agree? It's not something you can just think, oh, do you know what? I think maybe we could just do this solo and just, you just go off and do your thing.
Well, that's easier for you to say than I, because I'm normally the one who does go off on the solo dates. So I think this is a good opportunity for you to share your experiences, because as I said, I'm the guilty party in
the guilty party.
The fact that I quite happily go off on my merry way. So why don't you talk about your feelings, and then we'll kind of talk about how we prepare ourselves together, because there is a preparation.
Yes, I'd agree.
I don't just kind of walk out the door and
where is she?
See you later.
Where is she this time? I think you have to prepare yourself in terms of, first of all, who it's going to be with. That for me is the key. You need to look for someone who you're happy with, who understands your dynamic, what you're both looking for, and basically has a good feel of you as a couple.
Yeah, and just to kind of jump in there, I think that is really important, because whilst I am out on the date, it is me personally, you're not just kind of sat there doing nothing and being ignored. You do need to be included, even though you're not physically there.
Thanks, wife.
And I know that I'm not the best at doing that.
But that's not... This is something that I think listeners, you need to understand comes with time, patience, understanding, compromise, because it is a two-way thing.
Absolutely. And dialogue. Talking.
Oh, gosh,
talking
yeah.
is so crucial.
If you're looking for something for the two of you, both of you need to be satisfied. So when we meet someone, I'll present you with this person and that person and this person and that person.
Sound like a catalogue.
It is. It's like Argos.
Which one would you like?
This one. I'll just see if there's any more in the back. But that's an important part, because we get approached by people, and once we pick the right person and that part of it is done and you've communicated with them, that actually is part of the build up for me, knowing that you're communicating with them and seeing that excitement build for you. If you're going to be in a non-monogamous adventure where only one part of you is playing, the other party is getting another part, how can I put this? Getting another thrill, if that makes sense. Getting another sexual high, if that makes sense. And for me, that's you preparing yourself, getting ready, messaging that person. Once it gets down to it, the time of the date, how do you often feel when the date is happening? It's about to happen.
So when the date's about to happen, I obviously will have that natural excitement, but then there's also a lot of nerves, and a lot of the nerves for me isn't actually about myself going off on the date. It is nerves about how you're feeling.
Oh,
I know, I do think of you.
Thank you.
So yeah, when we're kind of together, and it has become, and we've spoken about it at length before, but when it is the time of a date, I will be getting ready, and Secret Stag will often be in the room, not necessarily kind of talking the whole time. There's a lot of observing as I get ready, because I think we do have that quiet excitement where I think I go into my head a little bit and I start to kind of think about what's going to go on. I don't think I'm wrong in saying that you're also in your head at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Being, again, our dynamic, so much of it is on the cerebral side. Obviously, I like watching you have amazing adventures. But single dating is so much in one's head, because once that person leaves, unless you've got spyware, some sort of drone following you around, you go into your head. When you're getting ready, I love watching you put on your makeup, and I love watching you choose your lingerie and throw countless outfits on the bed and say, not this one, and not this one, not this one.
I get the rage.
Not this one, not this one, not this one.
And often you're quite key in choosing the outfits. I often get into that space where I suddenly nothing fits, and then I get cross at myself and cross at the world, and then you become the voice of reason and will often encourage me towards certain outfits. So.
What's that supposed to mean?
No, nothing. I'm being complimentary here. Take it. It's a win for you.
No, thank you, wife. No, that for me, it's going to sound really... I think it sounds quite bad, like watching you dress and choosing certain things that I think you look good in. That makes me feel more excited and more included, I guess, would be the way to put it. once you've chosen your outfit and you're all ready to go, we have this hard time where it's time to say goodbye, and I can see you're so excited to go, and I almost don't want you to go, but I want you to go, and it's such a little conflict, and then you go and you're off, and then I'm alone. Now we have children, so when single dating with us, that is obviously primary as well, making sure the children are fine. And I often have these mad hour or two where the children are still awake and I'm awake and you're out being hot and being on a date, and I'm sort of conflicted being a good dad. We've bought a lot of takeaways on the night the children have that you've been out on a date, wife.
But then I think that's also because you're making it more of a event for everyone. So in a odd way, the children are included, not in obviously lifestyle.
Oh my God.
Not in the lifestyle sense, but in a sense that actually you're making sure that they're having the best time that they can have.
I agree. They're happy.
Yeah.
Their happiness is important to us a lot, and making sure they're safe and they're happy. Once they're asleep, now that's when things are different, because during that time I might have received a message usually saying you're there, maybe a few message pictures or messages saying you're having fun.
I am pretty good, I'd say, at documenting my journey there. It's just when I'm there, I think correspondence.
Almost as if once you start having fun, you're like, well,
I get distracted.
Fuck that guy, or maybe not.
Hey.
No, and that's understandable. Once you're there, I love to see you having drinks or you taking little selfies, or I just love feeling like that voyeur watching a couple having a good time, even though it's my wife with another man or woman sometimes. That is exciting for me. That's exciting for me. And once things get more intimate, that's when things kick up a notch, if I were to say. I usually have a bath, a nice cold drink, hot bath and a cold drink, I always say. And it's so intense. Just knowing that you're out and that you're feeling these feelings and experiencing these pleasures, I guess, is a lot for me. I am overwhelmed by it, and I'm overwhelmed by happiness that you would do it, not just for me, for yourself. I love knowing that you're doing it because you want to experience that pleasure. If I thought you were doing this just for me, that would be a problem. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
How do you feel when you're out doing those bits and pieces?
I'm normally having a wonderful time.
What a surprise.
What a surprise. But as I said, on this journey, not wanting to use that word because I know that
Everyone
is a cliche and it is overused, but it's a good word. It serves a purpose. But for us, I have had to practice making sure that I'm involving you as much as possible, but also involving you in a way that doesn't then exclude the man I'm with, if that makes sense. Because sometimes I think if I'm too in their face by saying we have to take a photo of this, we need to send a video of this, do this or whatever, I think sometimes I always fear that we're at risk of making them feel like they are just
an object.
I
agree.
And that's not my intention in the slightest.
No, and I think the more experience the single guy has with a couple or whichever dynamic you've got going in terms of solo dating, that helps.
Absolutely.
Because if there's that understanding that there's this slight expectation that you'll need to take some pictures, you'll need to be involved while I just send some messages. We're not going to overshadow the time we have together, as in you and your partner, your date, I should say. But there's another person on the other side of this trio who.
And it is true. This is where experience really does come in for both sides, because when I have had partners who have actively encouraged me to take photos to send to you, that instantly will put me at ease and will encourage me more.
I enjoy that quite a lot.
It helps me to know that I think I'm just not very good at often kind of seeking, put it as I'm doing now. I'm not very good at sometimes putting it into words, the request I need.
Is that because you're having tremendous sex at the time?
I mean, there are lots of distractions. It's
a busy life for you.
It is. But yeah, if I've got someone who is well aware of the situation, aware that your involvement is key, even though you're not physically in the room.
Thank you.
Then that does make me better at communicating with you and touching base a lot more frequently.
Do you prefer dating guys who you've had loads of impact with before, you've got loads of pre-existing relationship with, or do you like the excitement of a little bit of unknown? What do you prefer?
I think, if I'm honest, I actually do prefer someone who I've been more experienced with. And we've joked before that I've said that when I go on a first experience with somebody, that it's almost like a dress rehearsal for them providing you with things. I need to test the product before I show you the product.
You're so thoughtful. Why? Thank you.
And I do think that with experience with a lover, as it were, you kind of perfect the connection. You know what works for one another. It's less of that awkwardness where things aren't quite going right, where maybe you're stumbling with each other because it is new. I love the new. I do love the new. I love the excitement of the new, but I also love the confidence that being with someone who you've been with before. I like having that reassurance that I actually know what they like and they know what I like as well. I think if I'm going to be putting on a show, as it were, for you, I know that I will do better once I've had a rehearsal.
Really?
I'm not good at improv.
Such a performer. I absolutely understand that. And this dynamic is so much about performance. Now, that's not in saying things aren't real, because I can tell you now, it's as real as it gets when you're watching your wife fuck another man, you know? But you with another partner that you've had experience with, and when you can see that connection, like you have that sexual compatibility and experience with understanding, it does show and it is exciting. I do like the new as well. That's true. We've had some wonderful new experiences where we've gone out and had like new things. Absolutely fine with that and love it. Yeah, I'm fully on board with that. Is there any question you have for me in terms of solo dating? Something you want to get into my head? My head's pretty crazy. I want to get it up in there. Get right up in there, Sigrid Rickson.
What is the biggest challenge for you?
Oh.
Yeah, look at me asking questions. So what is the biggest challenge for you when I'm out on a solo date?
Tempering one's expectations. When you're a stag or a cuckold or just a single guy, single girl who's partnered out on a date and you're experiencing that for the first time, you may want to literally be the person there with the holes in the newspaper. Imagine you're watching right there, watching every single moment, every single word. But you can't be. You can't be. If they're out on a solo date and you're at home, you have to understand that you will not be able to have a picture every few minutes, or at least that's the way we've done things. I think that's the fair way. You have to have a compromise in terms of expectations, in terms of what you can expect to get from them and what you should expect from them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you ever get regret?
That's a good one.
Have you ever had a moment where I've gone off and you're like, oh, probably shouldn't have done this?
It's tricky. There have been times, truthfully, where I haven't felt it. I should have said something. I think that's important for listeners to know that if you don't feel it, you need to speak up. It comes back to that communication that you said, Sigrid Vixen. We're a team, and if part of you isn't feeling it, I hope you do the same. If you weren't feeling it, you'd stop it, there and then. And if I wasn't feeling it, and there have been times when maybe, not because of the guy, not because of the situation, but maybe because of my own difficulties that night maybe, or getting in my own head too much, I thought, I wish I'd have said, let's stop, let's go back. And there have been times where I have said, I'm not feeling it tonight, let's go back to the room. I don't know if you think about those times.
I was the same when I've not felt it.
Yeah. It's important to remember that, you and I are the primary couple, just as the listeners, if they're in a dynamic where, your primary partner and you need to agree on how things are working, and if things aren't working, you can stop them. Trying to think of any other challenges. I think that's probably the main one. Making sure your expectations, making sure you've got enough hot water for the bath. Listeners, I think that's probably about what we've got, but you're always welcome to speak to us if you want to talk to about solo dating. You can reach us on our Twitters, on our X. I'm at Secret Stag.
And I'm at secret_vixen1.
Oh yeah, I like at _ Secret Stag.
You said
Secret _ Stag. Wrong way.
Who knows who you're going to end up speaking to? It could be...
That's what you say when I'm on Fab. Who could you be speaking to now?
This is true.
It's a secret.
This is true.
But yeah, thanks for listening, team. And I hope this has been useful. And we're going to hand over now back to the bedhoppers with their words of wisdom on solo dating.
Probably some kind of comment.
Oh yeah, they'll probably say we did too many ums.
Too many ums. I don't think I've said like.
No, I think I did 2 ums.
I have definitely done Sorry, Mr. H, forgive us.
Yeah, Mr. H, forgive us. We are bad people.